Hello students, welcome to the lecture on Transportation and Packaging System for Logistics, and after this lecture we will be able to learn the following objectives. Understand transportation infrastructure and policies, define freight management systems, explain the geography of transportation networks, discuss unitization for packaging, describe packaging for materials handling efficiency, define passive and interactive information systems. Let's discuss about transportation and packaging systems for logistics. Transportation is one of the most visible elements of logistics operations. The role of transport in national economy is very crucial. Every business firm, regardless of what it produces or distributes, requires the movement of goods from one point to another and therefore is involved in transportation. Transportation essentially concerns the spatial dimension of the business firm. The spatial dimension refers to geographical relationships and reflects the combination of firms with respect to their materials sources, markets and competitors, plus the spatial relations of the latter to their sources and markets. The purpose or function of transportation is to serve as a connecting link between the spatially separated units within a firm's own organization and between units of the firm and units of other firms and individuals. Good transportation has the effect of holding to a minimum the time and cost involved in the spatial relationships of the firm. Transportation utility. In economic theory terms, transportation's function is to create place utility for the goods produced or distributed by the firm. The word utility means usefulness or ability to give satisfaction. Thus, transportation is an essential part of the total production process that cannot be overlooked.
Imagine how someone from the 1800s would react to the busy world we live in. Everyone and everything seems to be in motion. That means there are all kinds of jobs handling logistics, transportation, and distribution services. On the water, in the air, over roads and across the fields, people work at operating aircraft and vehicles. To keep them moving, people work in dispatch centers, hangars, and garages. From a messenger on a bicycle to the operator at the controls of a huge crane, this is work that puts a premium on accuracy and efficiency. For so many to travel so often, delivering and collecting people, products, and debris, there is a need for coordination. That's part of this industry too. Often, individual vehicles and aircraft are part of a fleet that must be managed to maximize every mile and every minute. For example, a pilot is an expert with the necessary training, experience, and government-certified skills, but he or she certainly doesn't work alone. Getting a jet safely from one place to another involves mechanics, air traffic controllers, and sometimes flight engineers, a whole team of people on the ground and in the air. These are people to whom we entrust our lives, the lives of our children, and our possessions. So it's important to have a thorough understanding of the job you do and to be aware every moment. This is a field for people who like to be physically active and who are able to concentrate on a task carefully, negotiating it amid noise, traffic, and other distractions. Many of these jobs require absence from home overnight or strenuous work with heavy parts and machinery. Quite often, these jobs come with considerable stress when the weather gets bad or equipment breaks down. You know that people are depending on you, and that increases the tension, but also the satisfaction when the challenge is met. Some jobs, like driving a taxi, require only a short training course to pass a license exam. Other jobs take years of preparation. Vocational schools and the military are good places to get started. You can expect a thorough background check and substance abuse testing programs that continue after you're hired, since public safety is involved.
Let's discuss about transportation infrastructure and policies. Transportation modes serving agriculture have experienced strains over the last 5 years. The current capacity for storage, trains, loading, inspection, ships, port capacity, etc. will be inadequate to meet projected demand for US feed and food products from China, India, and Southeast Asia. It is needless to say that to overcome the constraints of a less developed country, the state must play a positive role. The need for basic services like railways, road transport, telecommunication, gas, electricity, water is inevitable for future development. Organization which provides services to the citizens of a country to satisfy the basic needs like health, education, transportation, communication, electricity, water, etc. against the cost of services with subsidies are called public systems. Growth sector. The country is passing through a phase of saturation in manufacturing sector. There is a tremendous scope of growth of hospitality business like hotel and tourism. Contribution of transport. With the changing economic scenario, factors such as globalization of markets, international economic integration, and removal of barriers to business and trade and increased competition have enhanced the need of transportation. Transport volumes in India remain much less than those in the developed countries. India has still to go a long way in strengthening its transportation network. Transportation, like all industries, is largely influenced by information and communication technologies, with the focus being on knowledge of customer needs and value-added services. In other words, prompt customer service is what gives competitive edge to the players of the cargo transportation industry in today's rapidly changing environment. The link between transport infrastructure and economic development is like giving water to a tree. The key factor which largely influences the economic growth process is the transportation infrastructure. The railway, on the other hand, provides the service between the area of production and the consumers at a distant place, and between manufacturer in the town and the agriculturist in the village. With the globalization of economic process, the role of shipping transport has been crucial for national economic growth. The Indian economy is passing through an interesting phase. Importance of transport in national economy has been enumerated as: transport is the basic service for increasing national income. As national income rises, infrastructure adopts to support changing patterns of demand with the shares of power, transport and communication. Transport is one of the most pervasive services within the country. Transport helps to create new economic activity. Economic development in a country requires adequate and effective transport services. Transport system is the indicator of development in a country. One of the major indicators of development of a country is the existence of high quality transport network, availability of number of mechanized motor transport, adequate number of railway, air and shipping services as per the demand of the users. Transport enlarges the trading activities of a country. The industrially developed countries lay more emphasis on the development of this sector to enlarge not only their trade but also to increase the frequency of the passenger service. Transport influences daily life of the people. It influences economic development, population distribution and energy consumption, access to markets and materials and pace. Transport system is a catalyst of the socio-economic development. Transportation plays an important role in rapid economic development of a country. Transport acts as an acceleration and catalyst for faster, higher and quicker economic growth. Transport promotes industrialization. It increases wealth, promotes industrialization and transfers the organization of industry and transforms the organization of industry, creates urban conglomeration, raises the standard of living of the people and promotes culture. Transport provides access to the rural area. Transport system is the nerves of an economy which stimulates its developments and activities. Transport system provides the vital linkage between production and consumption. Development of transport infrastructure helps the globalization of production process. Transport is essential in an economy because the demand and supply of goods do not reach equilibrium at any particular area or point of time. Transport provides the vital link between the production and consumption point, and the objective of production is not fulfilled till the commodity reaches the consumer. Transport is the key factor to link dispersed, scattered areas. As a sector of the national economy, transport is characterized by long-range investment, much of which is devoted for creation of basis facilities such as rail tracks, roads, ports, air terminals, shipbuilding, and repairing yards. Transport increases the economic efficiency of resources. The economic efficiency of resources of various countries is increased with the growth of different mode of transportation over the years. Transport provides mobility of labor and boosts tourism industry. The transport system removes the inequilibrium in labor market by providing means for mobility of labor from surplus area to deficient areas. Transport creates competitive environment. The adequacy of transport infrastructure is a key factor in the ability of countries to compete in international trade. Increased globalization of world trade in many countries arouses not only from the liberalization of trade policies but also from advances in transportation. Transport promotes social welfare. The economic characteristics of modern transport infrastructure are the supply of services through a network of delivery systems designed to serve a variety of users. Transport helps to stabilize prices. Goods can be transported to places where there is scarcity for it. By this, the consumers can get their desired products or commodities at a reasonable price. Similarly, by transporting goods to the market, the producer gets fair price on their products. Transport curbs monopoly of the trader. Facilities for quick transport of commodities from one place to another restricts the traders to charge high price to the consumers. Discovery of new market. Invention of new sea routes helped in discovering new lands in various parts of the globe. Similarly, discovery of new land routes increases the mobility of goods and passenger traffic and decreases the cost of transportation. Transport provides large employment opportunities. Growth of various modes of transport provided employment to millions. Adequate transport facilities in a country help to combat the natural calamities. Quick relief work can be initiated after the occurrence of natural calamities such as flood, drought, famine, earthquake and tsunami in a better way with the existence of fast transportation network. Let's talk about freight management systems. It is important to know and understand the true freight cost of shipping products and goods. Awareness of shipping procedures and rates can help prevent wasteful spending. Freight management involves controlling cost, maintaining accurate records, and sustaining warehouse inventory levels. The actual cost of shipping cargo is much more involved than just the actual shipping cost associated with the transportation company. The total freight cost also includes the cost of storing inventory, packaging material, salaries of shipping clerks, computer system to track and monitor shipments, actual freight rates, and cost associated with delayed shipments. Another very effective way to keep freight cost down is to employ the help of a freight management company or website. There are organizations that can help match clients' shipping needs to shipping companies looking for loads. Keeping accurate shipping records is the key to a smooth running supply chain. Understanding inventory trends can help control cost by ensuring that a company is not stuck with a lot of overstock. Storing inventory is one of the most costly expenses in the shipping process. In addition, being able to track a shipment makes the trucking company more accountable to deliver their loads on time. Without controlling freight rates and cost and maintaining proper management guidelines and regulations, then a company's profitability will suffer. Whether freight management is done through a logistics professional or through a third-party administrator, it demands proper attention. Managing expedited freight costs. Too much expedited freight can turn profitable sales into losses. While most shippers expect to use some expedited service to meet customer requirements, the ultimate goal is to reduce that need. Determine why you need to expedite. Challenge the status quo. Make sure you have good data. Reduce fulfillment time. Establish metrics. Hire good people. Share the metrics. Polish the crystal ball. Packaging function. It is communication or information transfer that is becoming increasingly critical to provide content identification, tracking, and handling instructions. Here we will discuss about the geography of transportation networks. Transportation systems are commonly represented using networks as an analogy for their structure and flows. Transport networks belong to the wider category of spatial networks because their design and evolution are physically constrained as opposed with non-spatial networks such as social interactions, corporate organization, and biological systems. The term network refers to the framework of routes within a system of locations identified as nodes. A route is a single link between two nodes that are part of a larger network that can refer to tangible routes such as roads and rails or less tangible routes such as air and sea corridors. Regular network. A network where all nodes have the same number of edges. In the same vein, a random network is a network that is formed by random processes. A transport network denotes either a permanent track, example roads, rail and canals, or a scheduled service, example airline, public transit, train. It can be extended to cover various types of links between points along which movements can take place. The efficiency of a network can be measured through graph theory and network analysis. These methods rest on the principle that the efficiency of a network depends partially on the layout of nodes and links. The topology and typology of networks. Transportation networks, like many networks, are generally embodied as a set of locations and a set of links representing connections between those locations. The arrangement and connectivity of a network is known as its topology, with each transport network having a specific topology. Transport networks can be classified in specific categories depending on a set of topological attributes. There are three types of physical spaces on which transport networks are set and where each represents a specific mode of territorial occupation: clearly defined and delimited, vaguely defined and delimited, without definition. Network expansion. The co-evolution of roads, canals and ports during the Industrial Revolution in England reveals noticeable interdependencies among the different nodes and networks over time based on spatial and functional proximity. The growing competition between the sea and land corridors are not only reducing transport costs and encouraging international trade, but prompting many governments to reassess their land-based connections and seek shorter transit routes. These land network expansions are driven by economic globalization and inter-regional cooperation and eventually become multimodal transcontinental corridors for rail, road, pipelines and truck telecommunications routes. Let's discuss about unitization for packaging. In simple language, materials handling is loading, moving and unloading of materials. To do it safely and economically, different types of tackles, gadgets and equipment are used when the materials handling is referred to as mechanical handling of materials. However, in the field of engineering and technology, the term materials handling is used with reference to industrial activity. In any industry, be it big or small, involving manufacturing or construction type work, materials have to be handled as raw materials, intermediate goods or finished products from the point of receipt and storage of raw materials through production processes and up to finished goods storage and dispatch points. Let's look at a few materials handling definitions. Material handling is the art and science involving the moving, packaging and storing of substances in any form. Materials handling is the movement and storage of materials at the lowest possible cost through the use of proper methods and equipment. Materials handling is the moving of materials or product by any means, including storage and all movements except processing operations and inspection. Materials handling is the art and science of conveying, elevating, positioning, transporting, packaging and storing of materials. The essential requirements of a good materials handling system may be summarized as efficient and safe movement of materials to the desired place, timely movement of the materials when needed, supply of materials at the desired rate, storing of materials utilizing minimum space, lowest cost solution to the materials handling activities. Packaging considerations. Package design and development are often thought of as an integral part of the new product development process. Alternatively, development of a package or component can be a separate process but must be linked closely with the product to be packaged. Package design starts with the identification of all the requirements: structural design, marketing, shelf life, quality assurance, logistics, legal, regulatory, graphic design, end use and environmental. Package design processes often employ rapid prototyping, computer-aided design, computer-aided manufacturing and document automation. Package design may take place within a company or with various degrees of external packaging engineering, independent contractors, consultants, vendor evaluations, independent laboratories, contract packages, or total outsourcing. Packaging perspectives. Viewing materials handling delivery and store operations as an integrated system resulted in a decision to discontinue reusing vendor cartons. The new procedure used a standardized master carton that facilitated order picking and materials handling. Here we talk about packaging for materials handling efficiency. Materials handling efficiency in all of these cases is significantly influenced by package design, unitization, and communication characteristics. Package design. Product packaging in standard configurations and order quantities facilitates logistical efficiency. Unitization, containerization. Unitization is the process of grouping master cartons into one physical unit for materials handling or transport. The concept of containerization includes all forms of unitization, from taping two master cartons together to the use of specialized transportation equipment. Communication. The third important logistical packaging function is communication or information transfer. Content identification. The most obvious communications role is identifying package contents for all channel members. tracking. Ease of package tracking is also important. Effective internal operation, and increasingly customers require that product be tracked as it moves through the supply chain. Handling instructions. The final role of logistics packaging is to provide handling and damage instructions to material handlers. Let's now talk about the issues of application. All logistical operations are affected by packaging utility, from truck loading and warehouse picking productivity to transportation and storage cube utilization. Let's look at the materials handling main content. Basic handling considerations. Logistical materials handling is concentrated in and around the warehouse. A basic difference exists in the handling of bulk materials and master cartons. Merchandised systems. Mechanized systems employ a wide range of handling equipment. The types of equipment most commonly used are lift trucks, walkie ride pallet trucks, tow lines, tractor trailer devices, conveyors, and carousels. Information directed systems. The concept of information directed handling is relatively new and the subject of a great deal of research and development. Special handling considerations. The primary mission of materials handling is to facilitate merchandise flow in an orderly and efficient manner from manufacturer to point of sale. Let's now talk about passive and interactive information systems. An information system is a system that provides information according to a user's requests. Passive information systems. Passive information systems are systems that will answer queries based on the data that is held within them, but the data is not altered. A simple example would be an electronic encyclopedia where queries can be used to search for data and much valuable information can be learned, but the user is not allowed to alter the data. Interactive information systems. An interactive system is one that data can be entered for processing, which may alter the contents of the database. An example would be the school secretary updating the attendance record of a pupil in the pupil file. Now, in the end, let us summarize what we have learned in this lecture. The arrangement and connectivity of a network is known as its topology, with each transport network having a specific topology. The implementation of networks, however, is rarely premeditated, but the consequence of continuous improvements as opportunities arise, investments are made, and as conditions change. Materials handling is the movement and storage of materials at the lowest possible cost through the use of proper methods and equipment. The concept of information directed handling is relatively new and the subject of a great deal of research and development.